I also want to add this, okay, is that, people go, well, and this is why that Seinfeld thing that he said was, I didn't agree with it. And you're right.
I don't agree with it.
I don't agree with it
I
either.
couldn't fucking do it.
Because number one, sorry, Jerry, but as a stand-up, you're okay.
Oh my God!
All right,
he invited you to his charity gala.
No, Judd Apatow did.
Ooh,
Judd Apatow.
And what did
did
he call you?
His wife called me Jimmy. So Jerry Seinfeld's wife called me Jimmy. And she goes, "What's his name?" I go, "My name is Bobby." She goes, and then she came back by the table. She goes, "How's everything, Jimmy?" And then I was with I'm sitting next to Judd Apatow. I go, "Pretty good." You know what I mean? And
Leslie Mann.
No, Leslie Mann is Judd's wife.
Judd's wife.
I'm talking about Seinfeld's wife.
Seinfeld's wife.
Yeah. No, I mean Seinfeld was one of the best sitcoms ever made.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm giving him that. He also created observational comedy, right? A type of comedy that he created, which is talking about just ordinary things. You mean, why is this happening? And what is up with that? And
What is up with Jimmy?
yeah, it's basically him asking a question, and then what is up with Jimmy? He's the only minority at this lunch. I didn't invite him. Right? Yeah.
Spot on.
God damn, Judd. Right. But you have, let me say something. If you put imagine a regular audience of just minority, it is all sect of life, right? You do a show, you put 2,000 people in a theater. You put Earthquake. Earthquake. All right? Earthquake is, if you don't know Earthquake, you should. He is one of those guys that, okay, think to yourself, you didn't know who Earthquake was, and you're on a show.
And you also didn't know who Jerry Seinfeld was.
You wasn't Jerry Seinfeld. No, but I want to talk about Earthquake for a second. And you didn't know who Earthquake was, and you're a booker of the show, and somebody said, you should use Earthquake. And you would mock at the name. That's his name? Earthquake? Right? So then you get him on the show, right? You see this older kind of black guy. You go, this guy's name is Earthquake, right? And then Earthquake opens his mouth on stage, and you're like, oh! You know what I mean? Like an earthquake's happening, right? You go, that's why they call him that. That guy's funny as fuck, bro.
Funny as fuck, yeah.
That guy's funny as fuck, bro. Yeah. Right? It's like when I first saw Cedric the Entertainer. Steve and I, Paulie guys, years ago. This must have been the late 90s. And Paulie goes, dude, I'm going into the main room. You want to come with me? I go, no. Especially the way you said it. Pass. And he goes, no, there's this guy. You got to see him. His name is Cedric. And my brother and I go, oh, fuck. So we go sit next to Paulie. And this is when they used to have this show called Fat Tuesdays. It was just black comics.
Yeah.
And my brother had not, and this is way before, the Kings of Comedy. You didn't know who he was. People did know who he was in certain comedy scenes, obviously.
Yeah.
But in terms of the mainstream at that point, no. And my brother and I sat there, and Earthquake went up on stage. Not Earthquake, Cedric the Entertainer went up on stage. And I just remember my brother and I literally on the floor laughing so hard. One of those where you're holding your gut side.
Yeah.
It was one of those moments where I went, oh, I'm going to quit. There's no way, I'll never do that.
You know who I felt that about?
Who?
Leslie.
Yeah, Leslie has the same thing.
She has that same thing.
She has a thing, and she's also it depends too on what night. Sometimes if people aren't into it, it could go a little awry. But if Leslie Jones is on, and the audience is primed, there's no one better.
Yeah, I agree.
And what was I even talking about? Oh, earthquake and Seinfeld. So yeah, that's it. Let's
The
go back to
difference in
earthquake. Yeah. Let's go back. Okay.
Let's go backwards. Yeah.
So if you had Seinfeld earthquake in front of an audience that's biased, okay, there's no way Seinfeld will be able to follow him. There's no possible in any word he would eat a dick on stage. You know, and I'm okay to say that because
I think you would probably agree.
no, I don't know. I mean, I just feel like I'll never know him, or I mean, I went to that one luncheon. I shook his hand, and that's the only interaction I've had. I don't think that this is ever going to get back to him, so I'm fine with it.
You'd be surprised.
I know.
Now that you say that.
But so at the same time, it's like what?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like, in that driving thing that he that
Comedians in
in
cars.
I feel like he said something about minorities, about like it should be about funny, not about minorities or
Your
whatever,
race, your race.
a race or whatever. And I'm like, no, it should be about your race as well, because what you think is funny, then comedy clubs would be all Jewish dudes if you ran it.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
All
Skinny,
all
white,
observational
you know,
comedy.
Yeah.
Because it's so
Upper middle class-
subjective.
Yeah, it's all subjective.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no.
No.
Yeah.